Welcome to the third year of my Mighty Little Garden. Here's what our home looks like now, but it didn't look like this when we started 3 years ago.
Gilbert. Okay.
I say we loosely because I did a lot of the work,
Here's
but
coming into the front.
every bit of help
I will make this a
was
pretty
good thing.
place.
I paid somebody to paint somebody to skirt. Anyhow, glad we have lots of flowers. I had just a couple of bulbs and then I spread them out and kept growing them until it covered this front, covered the garden, covered the yard. Really happy with these white lilies. I wish I could remember what they are. Planted some sunflowers out front as well, and they've grown a lot in the last 2 days over what they look like there. Some of you remember me redoing the front porch and putting the texture coat on it. That didn't work well for me. It was hard to clean, so I took some leftover tile and put out there, and I'm very happy with that. Surprisingly, it held up over the winter. The sago palm doesn't look like that anymore. We even have a puzzle out there. We use it a lot. A little fan goes a long way there. Yeah, that big giant sago palm couldn't walk down this pathway. I still don't have anything really growing out by the sago palm. The garlic flower seems to be doing okay, but everything just gets too hot or dry. It doesn't hold the water. I had already trimmed the branches by the time I took this video, enough to walk through there, but just enough to walk through there. This is my redneck potato garden. The idea is you just lift the blue thing off and all the dirt with the potatoes is on top. Agapantha is the only place they'll grow. The pear tree, who has struggled, he's still hanging in there. All that rock sorting of craziness to make that pathway. What the patio looked like, what the patio looks like. We usually go out and have our coffee there. In the winter times it'll be on the screened porch, but outside, always. Taz loves being outside. He loves the garden. He loves helping in the garden. I'm so lucky to have such a good dog. That umbrella there works really well. There's a tree growing in that spot, and when it gets bigger, the umbrella obviously will go, but it makes nice shade. Blueberry tree bush is over here. This spot I just cleared, it had the radishes that I harvested, and this mustard seedlings are going to be spread out there, I think. I might put more radishes in. Okay, so when we walk past the shed, we walk into the lemon tree, which now has a bench. And I put that little ground cover. I love this ground cover. If anybody knows what it is, tell me. It's so easy to get rid of, so I can grow it everywhere and then take it out so that it doesn't choke my plants. I have found one thing I like growing in the pots, and that's the sweet basil. It's growing fine in the pots. There you can see some cauliflower coming up. And the corn has been doing really good. You can see it's all different sizes. That's because I planted it all different times so that I don't have it all to harvest all at the same time. So I can have some fresh corn, hopefully in a couple of weeks from the first planting. These guys have a couple of really nice ones on them. In fact, it's actually as big as my hand. Yep, there it is. Hummingbird, poor thing, hungry enough that he's eating off of onions. I'm trying to grow more red apple for them, and I'm going to try and get a few more plants in the garden for them. Anyhow, a little pathway to get back there and harvest things, and this is where that little pathway was. There wasn't one. You had to push your way through to the broken falling fence and arbor. And now we have all kinds of plants growing in there. And a dog who loves to lay there by the grapefruit tree. The little knee-high fig tree is big and growing. Do you see it? Now, I'm not talking about that red-eyed fly right there. I'm not talking about that iridescence of him at all. Do you see it? Take a look. Take a look. That fig tree right there is producing figs on its trunk. forget the fact that it had them in the leaves. All the leaves are nicely full. It decided to just put them off right on the trunk. Anyhow, a little squash where the strawberries were growing, and the tree is now growing, and the umbrella is standing. Got some pests. I'm not talking about the gopher, but I'm talking about the grasshoppers. They're my big pest right now. That was the gopher that saved dying. Oh man, I totally messed up because I was just going to talk seeds here. Harvested seeds, harvested carrot seeds, radish seeds, lettuce seeds. Yeah, from a garden that looked like this to now a beautiful pathway that looks like this. And it is a pretty pathway. I enjoy it when I go out to it. I get down on myself. We got more shade in the house, if you will. More shade in the yard anyway. Pretty lucky. I'm not going to say it didn't take work because it did. And it's doing well. Anyhow, the grasshoppers are my big problem right now. Eating my leaves on plants. There's about 4 of them. We got Swiss chard growing on each side of the fence. Harvesting salad is no problem. Obviously, strawberries, 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 and more strawberries every day. All started from under that umbrella. There was a little patch of strawberries, 6 plants, a 6-pack, and I took it and took the runners and began to spread them around and filled in that section. And then from this section, they moved on down the road along the back of the house where I used to grow arugula and now have flowers and strawberries growing. So this section along here, you walk around that pathway and you see strawberries all to the right. And lettuce to the left. And you can see that little white pathway that goes over to my neighbors. This is the one corn that survived the gopher. So I've moved it down here. And we'll see what he does, but it's still alive, what can I say? But this is where I sprouted all the loose leaf lettuce, which I've got to thin out and move around, which I began to right here, and still have some for collecting seeds. You can see right there. That'll go to seed pretty soon, and I'll put it in a bag. So, when we came down this way, oh goodness, didn't even know what this tree was. Turned out to be a beautiful navel orange that finally gave us edible fruit last year. And that poor Tangelo has just been massacred and massacred, but I'll get him shaped. I'll try. I won't give up on him. And then over to here where the shed wound up moving to. But it also, this all became my patio, my barbecue patio. And our navel orange has navel oranges on it again this year. Anyhow, the barbecue patio gets a lot of use. I love to barbecue outside. Steak and fish. I really don't like cooking fish in the house because I'm not a fan of the smell. I have a lot of outdoor cabinets that moved with us, and so they wound up outside. Really helps with the storage issue in a small place. The shed after his paint job doesn't look so bad either. That became our tool shed. That great heavy park bench that was given to me. I have expanded the garden over here. There's the bottom of the redneck barrel where I planted my peppers, which are ready for transplant pretty soon, which is in the extended part of the garden. My other seeding area. I do have a few seeding areas in case my worry old bones get too tired to make it around the yard. So my neighbor let me rock in a pathway here, and then that takes us from my yard over towards Lori's garden. When she moved in, I said, hey, want to have a garden? I'll work on it. And she let me, rocks and all. Surprise, surprise. I knew a garden would grow in rocks. But most people don't realize that. Rocks actually retain water. They can make extra heat. They can make extra warmth in the wintertime. Got a beautiful water pathway that goes all the way around, waters her whole yard now. It's come out really good. I moved some of the lettuce seedlings over here. You can see that. We actually harvested the first of the squash off of the butternut here. Gonna wait for one more. Hopefully it'll wait in the fridge. And that's the end of this story, folks. See you next time.